Okay. Hello, everybody. The way I have this set up, I can't actually see everyone's faces on Zoom, but I can see your names because I have it pulled up. So we will get started. My name is Natalie. For those who don't know, I do the marketing at the library, and then my husband and I have a marketing company on the side as well. So we are going to kind of talk today all about creating social campaigns for all the big holidays that are getting ready to come up. Last month, we kind of talked about strategy and getting ready. And this month, we're going to talk really more like specifics to kind of start generating ideas so you can start building those campaigns out. So before we get started, we will go around. We've got people in the room. We've got a bunch of people online. So we will introduce ourselves, your name, the business that you work for, and then we will do, Kenny always comes up with these. Let's see, what will be our icebreaker? How about your favorite Halloween costume that you ever wore? So we'll start online this time, and I'll just kind of say your name, and then that way people don't all talk at the same time. So first one, Darcy.
Hi, this is Darcy Crane, work at the American Cancer Society, and I think my favorite costume I did, me, my sister, and my daughter all did 50s one year, and I thought we were super cute.
That's fun. I love it. Okay, and then the next one I see is B. Mill H. Sorry, I don't know who you are. I just see your username.
Hi, this is Becky Miller. I'm with St. Mary's. I think my favorite costume was probably a zombie that was part of a haunted house that I did one year.
Awesome. Dwayne.
Hi, this is Dwayne Carty with the Jeff City Renegades. Probably a clown.
Awesome. Dwayne, I can't see your face. Are you the one I went to the Zimmer training with?
No.
Okay, there was somebody from the Renegades who came and learned all about marketing at the Zimmer training in Columbia, and I talked to them a whole bunch about stuff that the library could do for free for them. So,
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, let's see, Carol.
Hi, hi, I'm Carol. I'm with St. Joseph Bluffs, and I guess my favorite would be a toga outfit that I wore one year.
Fun. Let's see, Sonia.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sonia McGowan. I'm with Covenant Chiropractic and Wellness, and I'm not much for dressing up, but my kids always won every single costume contest they were in, so we'll just go with that.
So you don't like it, but you're really good at making them.
For sure.
Awesome. Let's see, Dan. Okay, how about Stephanie?
Hi, Stephanie Lehman, CNS Business Services. Halloween costume, long time ago, did the whole vampire thing with the face and the caked on makeup and everything, but it was a good costume. Not so good when you fall asleep and wear it all night after a party. So it was fun.
Awesome. Okay, so Tier, we'll go around the room.
All right. My name is Tier Severe. I'm the Council for Drug-Free Youth. I don't really celebrate Halloween, but I'll give you my one of my niece's nephew's favorite costume. I got him into Harry Potter, and so he was Harry Potter for 1 year.
Awesome.
And after a year, he was done with Harry Potter. So
you give it the one time.
Yeah.
My name is Michelle. I own the Lavender Lily Gibson Decor. I would say it would be dressed a whole bunch of dress up as the 80s.
Awesome.
Okay.
My name is Austin with Hunter Mink. As much as I love Halloween and it's my favorite holiday, I don't dress up. But I remember in high school we did the 7 dwarfs.
Oh, fun.
So everybody had a different character.
Love it.
Ashley from Newville Chamber. I would have to say the year my husband and I we dressed up as bank robbers. We did like the makeup and hats.
I love it.
Oh, we had like bags with the dollar signs on it.
Yeah. So good.
I am Amy Rogers. I'm with Project Homeless Connect and the Homeless Task Force. And I would say that my favorite year that I did was when I was Dracula in the haunted house in JC's.
Awesome.
I'm Carrie with Ready Popped, Gourmet Popcorn. We used to dress up all the time, and I love being like the whole family. But before kids, my husband and I did Captain and Coke, and he was like a ship captain, and I was a Coke bottle. So yeah, I had the captain.
I love it.
Colton Zirkle with the Conservation Federation of Missouri, and when I was a little kid, I was a bucket of slime.
Yes.
With a big trash can with the bottom cut out, my dad did that spray insulation coming out the side.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I'm Leslie Bickle, and I do a myriad of things, but today I'm here to help with any Instagram questions. And my favorite costume when I was 4, I was a rock star, and my mom made a costume for me out of sparkling fabric. And to this day, when I go into the fabric store, I search it out, and I'm like, Mom, do you remember? This weekend, actually. I was like, look at this fabric, it's the same. So that would be my favorite.
That's hilarious. My favorite, I was a princess one year for like 3 years in a row, and I think it's because the first costume my mom bought at Walmart versus made for me, and I was like, it was probably the crappiest one. You know what I mean? Like, when you make them, they're so much better, but loved that. Catherine's being Dorothy this year, and I can't wait because I glittered red chucks for her, and it's gonna be awesome. She told me she wanted to be that because I wouldn't make her wear a wig. So, good stuff. I was like, yeah, pretty much, kid, it's fine. Okay, so we will get started. For those of you on Zoom, it's kind of hard to look at the comments as we go through the PowerPoint, just the way the Zoom is set up. So we'll try to get to them. And we'll just kind of go from there. So today, like I said, we're talking about all the different social campaigns for all the different, hang on, I may have just not had it. There we go. Here every time, man. Every time you sneeze.
I was trying to hold it in. You know what I mean?
Oh, there we go. Okay, we're good. Okay, so kicking off, what should you focus on? Obviously, we have a lot of different people in the room, and on Zoom, we have nonprofits, we have brick and mortars, we have people that sell things just online. So what should you focus on? So Black Friday is for pretty much anybody who sells anything, whether you sell a physical product, whether you sell a service, whether you sell only online, if you have a brick and mortar location. Black Friday is for everybody. I love it so much. Okay, Small Business Saturday. So this is really focused on small businesses. So typically non-chain stores, people that don't have a lot of employees, that kind of thing. And then Cyber Monday is if you sell something online. Kind of with the beauty of Facebook, most of us can sell things online, even if you don't have a website. But thinking more like if you ship things, if you have that capability to ship things. And then Giving Tuesday is really dedicated to nonprofits, although we'll kind of talk about ways that for-profits can do it, but Giving Tuesday is really the nonprofits' day to shine. So you can kind of see this little graph that we put up here, and these are what they're anticipating. But even just how much from 2019, 2020, 2021, like how much more they're expecting people to be spending in holiday shopping. So we're going into the biggest time of the year. It's the busiest time for most businesses, and kind of getting ready for that is super important because people have money that they want to spend. Okay, so the prep work. What do we need to do to get started? And this is regardless of what you're doing, whether you're doing something on Black Friday, whether you're doing something on Giving Tuesday. These are the things that you need to do to get ready, regardless of where you're going with it. So just some logistics. The thing I always recommend is batching your work. So if you need to make a bunch of images to go to your campaign, sit down and do it all at once. It's just easier. A lot of times your themes are going to be the same. Maybe you're just changing a few pieces of it. So just sit down and do that. If you're going to be creating reels, it's super beneficial. Like go through and save, listen to all the different sounds and save the sounds that you want to use. And then on the time you feel like recording, record a bunch together. Leslie kind of talked about that 2 months ago, but it's super important. And it just makes your life easier when you're batch creating and doing it all at once. Plus, most of us have other duties as assigned. So if you're like, okay, this is the day I'm doing marketing, then it's easier to just sit down and get it done. Planning your content. So this is shared in our Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, I highly recommend you join it. It's social media forum, JCMO Chamber. And this is what I use at the library. I do my content weekly, and I just have Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and I'll put links because it's only me who uses it, so other people don't need to understand what my shorthand means. But that's how I know that I have things scheduled all the times that it needs scheduled. The other trick that I often do, like for the library, are resources. I know I'm gonna advertise those all of the time. So if I'm feeling extra creative, I'll go through and create a bunch of posts and just save them as a draft. And then on days that I'm not feeling creative, I go and I pull those, so they're already done. So those are kind of two ways. The other thing that I do that we've talked about before, so you know when you're kind of like you're scrolling through Facebook or you're scrolling through Instagram and you're like, oh, that post is really good. I'd love to share that for my brand. But you already have stuff scheduled. So I have on Facebook a group that's just me and Kenny. And anytime I find good content that I want to share later, I share it to that group. And then it's just the two of us that see it. And then when I want to go find it later, or again, if I'm not feeling creative, I'll go scroll that group and find stuff to share. So those are kind of my tips on how to make content creation a little bit easier. And then obviously scheduling your content. I always recommend scheduling in Facebook or in Instagram. I don't recommend using a third party like I think Suite or something like that. The algorithm just doesn't like it very much. So, some questions. Okay, the other thing to do, reaching your customers now. So we all know that the holiday season is about to get very busy, and it's also very noisy on social media. One benefit right now is it's not an election year. So last year we were competing with all of that too. So that's a benefit now. But this is an email that I just got from the makeup company that I use their makeup, and it's the holidays are coming, and it stopped. It was like flashing through different images, and it's just like, hey, the holiday season's almost here. Join our Crunchy Text Club to be the first one to know about our offers. So it was encouraging people on their email list to sign up for their text list. The other thing that is very easy to kind of create in Canva that I think is helpful is showing people to change their follow settings. So you just kind of take a screen grab of your page, tell people where to start, tell them, you know, mark it as a favorite so you don't miss a thing. And that's just an easy image to put up so people are getting your notifications. So it's just important to make sure that people know like that you have things coming, that you have sales coming, that you have promotions coming, that kind of stuff, so that it really helps them know what it is. I know me personally, like if a business texts me, I am much more likely to pay attention versus my email where I have 17,000 gazillion emails every day. Also, if you don't have a text service, I use Project Broadcast for my Norwalk stuff. It's like $10 a month, super easy. And there's other ones, that's just the one that's like the most affordable that I have found, and I like them, they're a good company. Okay, building your email list. So even though we all get 17,000 gazillion emails a day, people do interact more frequently with businesses during the holidays. I am notorious for, I will sign up any business or company I like. I always make sure I sign up for their email list in June because my birthday's in July and I want whatever discount they're gonna give me. But then I'm still on it for the Christmas season, which is great. So obviously they want deals. So that's a lot of times if people are signing up for email lists right now, it's because they want a deal. Or if you're a nonprofit, they know that you have stuff coming up and they want to support you and know what's going on. Also, and this is just good to know, and it changes all the time, but making sure you know each platform's terms of service. So some let you do giveaways, some don't, like when it comes to like social media and stuff. So just kind of paying attention to that. Okay, the other thing to do right now, testing your content. So what works better? So these are examples of 2 posts that we did for the library that were very similar, talking about our new lockers. So this was just a picture with a description. This was a video showing how to use them. So I definitely recommend right now, as you put content out, pay attention. Are images working better? Is your audience responding to images better? Are they responding better to videos? Are they responding better to lives? If you're on Instagram, Reels, like what is it exactly that people are interacting with the most, and make note of that. That way you can utilize it later. There's some great stuff, and if you don't follow Susie Holman on Instagram, she's doing some trainings this week in her stories on how to analyze the analytics on Instagram. And there was some really, like, there was stuff I was like, oh, I had no idea. And so it's super helpful. Like it talks about like the best time to post. Like you look at your analytics and you like, and this is something I don't always think about. So say if you look at your analytics and your audience is most active in Instagram at noon, you don't post at noon, you post at like 11:30, because then when they get on at noon, they see it. And I was like, oh, duh. Like I always think, oh, post at noon, that's when they're there. So I recommend checking her out, and it's SUZY, and she's got some good stuff going on. And then can you segment your audience? So for the library, we segment our audience all the time because we have people that read adult books. We have people that read children's books. We have adults who read both. We have we have people who only use the computers. We have people who only come in for the newspaper. So we segment our audience, which we're able to do because people check things out. So it's easier for us to segment that way. But thinking about, with your handmade sign stuff, like, are you trying to reach brides who are getting ready to plan their weddings and they want you to do the big mirror thing that you do, table setting? Or are you trying to reach people who want to decorate for the holidays and want to do signs for their home? Those are two kind of different audiences. Like, I'm not a bride, I'm not interested in that part of your service, but I love your handmade signs. So thinking about different ways that you can kind of communicate to those separate audiences. And then preparing your profiles. So this is something that we've talked about a while ago, but just looking at it and auditing it. So your profile picture, is it your logo? Is it easily recognizable? If you're a personal brand, is it your face where people can see it? Same with your cover photo. This is what we always do at the library for our cover photo coming up on Giving Tuesday. This is the image, but then if you click the image, you can also see the description that I have on it, and it has the link of where to donate. It talks about what we're raising money for this year. And so it's just another place for people to have a way to donate on Giving Tuesday. Making sure your bios are good, especially on Instagram, because in Instagram posts, you can't click on the links. So everyone always says link in bio. Nothing annoys me more when a brand says link in bio and I go to click on the link in bio and it is a link to something else. Like, don't do that. So just checking it and making sure that like all of the links are working, that they're going to your website, that they're not going to go to a page that says dead page. So all of that's super helpful kind of as we go into it. Are there any questions about prep work before we go into the actual like specifics? Dan, can you not, sorry, can't see chat. Can you not see the PowerPoint, Dan? Or anyone on Zoom?
Maybe it's just the way I have my view set up.
Can anyone else on Zoom see the PowerPoint?
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
All right, I need to fix me.
Sorry, Dan.
Sorry.
Hey, you're here on the right day. Yay!
Yay!
Okay. Any questions? All right, so we will go in. We're going to start on Black Friday because this is the first one that happens in order. Maybe this wants to work now. There we go. Okay. So this kind of goes to prep, but kind of not. Something most people in here use Canva. Most of us have access to it. If you go in and search Black Friday or sales or anything like that, they will give you these little promo posts that you can just kind of drop your own images in. One thing that Kenny always recommends whenever we talk about this, like go in, I use templates on Canva often, but I'll like change the colors of stuff. That way everybody in this room isn't using the same templates and we all look the same. So maybe change it to your branding colors, change it however you want to do that. So that's super helpful. And now's a really good time to be doing that. We're not as busy now as we are going to be in the beginning of November or middle of November. So start working on things like that now so they're ready to go. Another super helpful thing when it comes to Instagram and Facebook is they have shopping profiles now. So if you sell a physical item, you can have it set up. These are nice little, like, almost like digital catalogs. So like this is gifts under $30, and then it kind of has them all laid out. If you click on it, they have links, so it'll take you right to their website so that people can shop and find those items. So the other way that nonprofits can use this for Giving Tuesday is putting, like, say, like at the library, say that we're like, okay, to buy a new book, it's $30. So we can put a new book in there and $30 and people can donate that way. So putting those items on there. One brand that does a really good job with that is called, I should have written it down. It's like Nestle Goods. They're out of St. Joe, St. Joseph, Missouri, and they have like, it's kind of like a home goods boutique type thing. And so they have limited quantities of stuff, but that doesn't stop them from getting it up there so people can see the kind of stuff they usually carry. So I think they do a really good job with it. And this is another example of just how people kind of put things on Instagram using bright, good lighting. You were talking about this the other day with someone about lighting and like using the white background and
Yeah, just making sure that you don't have a lot of shadows in your picture. Like if you sell a physical product and this is the countertop in your business and you're like, oh, I just need a real quick picture of it, don't, because this is not a great background. It's gonna look real muddy behind whatever you're trying to sell. So I go to Hobby Lobby and they're white canvases that are I just get a square, and that way I have that so that when I do any type of flat lay, I can just have a white background because this looks real muddy as a background.
awesome. And if you don't have a light, natural light's always good, like doing it like near a window.
Cloudy days are the best to get pictures outside.
Today
Yeah.
would be a great day.
Yeah.
Go take photos of all your products. Okay, and then some other things to do. This is super blurry and I can't read it because there was a point I wanted to make to it. No, I don't remember what it was. This is great. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to read. Oh, this is okay. I know it. I was like, what was I trying to say here? This is why I like Kenny, because he always just picks it up where I'm like rambling. Okay, so the other thing that's really important as you kind of lead up to Black Friday is making sure that people understand the urgency of it. It's kind of implied that it's only a Black Friday sale, but using words like limited quantities, using words like flash sale, special buy, exclusive, that kind of stuff. So that stuff lets your audience know before we get into it that there's only a few of them, that it's not something that you're going to be able to get all of the time. Another great thing to do is to partner with influencers. And this can be like, obviously most of us in this room aren't going to go get like people from The Bachelor to talk about our product as much as we would love to. But I do always joke, and it's funny that Leslie's in the room because I always use her as my example of like micro influencers. Like we have influencers in our community who do this, and Leslie's one of them. And so working with people who maybe have, like they use your brand already, like think of your customers, like somebody, and like High Rise. Like I am a huge fan of High Rise. I love High Rise. I love their drinks. I talk about them all the time. Like those customers that are already excited are great ones to be like, hey, we would love to partner with you. And you work it out with them. Some people are happy, like if you're like, hey, you know, if we give you our product, will you post about it? But also recognizing that if this is their job, this is how they make their income. And so they will probably say, well, this is my going rate to post in a video or whatever it is. So it just kind of depends if it's somebody who's just like a fan of your business and is excited to do it, or somebody who this is their job and this is how they make their income. But it's great whenever you can see on here, on this image, like she tagged the brand, she was kind of talking about it, and it was before Black Friday. So like it was leading up to it so that her followers knew. Oftentimes they get a discount code. So that is for you as the business owner, because you can track how many people are actually purchasing from you from this influencer. So that's, and then getting content from your people. So I tried to do this on the library page. It absolutely did not work. I wish it would have, because it was a fun post. So I did a post with a literary themed Halloween costume. And I was like, put your literary themed costume in the comments so we can all get ideas for this year. And nobody did. Had really high hopes for that one. But like, this is one that Jeep did, and like they asked people to show their Jeep in the holidays. And then you can use those photos. Like, that's the cool thing. Like, you get people to do it. You know, I could definitely see you guys being like, how do you spend your long weekend? We know all of our outdoor people aren't shopping. Like, you're out being in the outdoors. Blah, 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 blah. So, so then use that. Exactly. You could just write that down. That's the text you need to use. So cultivating that content from your followers, because then the other thing that happens is you're like, those people are like, oh, that's my picture. And they share it. And they, you know, we still to this day use, Kenny did a tweet for the Logitech mouse. And it was something about the mice of men or something. And Logitech was like, can we use that in an ad? And we were like, heck yeah, you can. We were like babies. We didn't know we should have been like, yeah, and send us a free mouse. But to this day, like, we have that image and we use it all the time. We're like, look at when Logitech took this stuff out. Like, and this was cool. So it just gets that excitement. Any questions about before Black Friday?
Is there ever a time when you post too much?
So I don't think so. Here's how I always go about it. If it's valuable content that people are interested in, you can't post too much. It's only if you're like, hey, you should buy this. Hey, you should buy this. Like, and that's what, like, when I started at the library 5 years ago, they only posted a few times a week. And I was like, we have 50 to 60 programs a month, plus like hundreds of resources. I was like, we're posting twice a day. And everybody was like, oh, well, but it's valuable. It's good content. And so mixing it in with like humorous content and engaging content and thinking about what problem does your audience have that your brand can solve for them. Even if it's something like, we're getting ready to go into the holiday season, and so I have to buy teacher gifts and I have to buy hostess gifts, and I have to, like, and so you solve that problem by having that stuff ready to go, where I can go in and be like, I want that and that and that, and all the gifts are done, and we go. So just kind of thinking about that. You know, I think about popcorn. Nobody ever sits here and thinks about popcorn being the place where, like, I mean, I get popcorn from my pest control people. I get popcorn from my realtor because it's easy for them. They go, you have it, it's corporate gifts, everybody loves it. And so those are problems that you can then be like, look, do you need to give gifts to 100 people, but you don't want to wrap them all? You don't want to, you know, like, the gift that keeps on giving. So thinking about it that way, I think is super beneficial. Okay, so during. So this is actually on Black Friday. The thing to remember, for whatever reason, Black Friday seems to start on the Tuesday before. It makes no sense, but it happens. I will say personally, with the way that I do it, if a brand is starting their Black Friday on Tuesday, I don't even shop with them on actual Black Friday because I feel like they've already done their deals. But some of it, last year, a lot of places did kind of back off, especially the brick and mortars, like they weren't open on Thanksgiving last year and that kind of stuff. We'll see what happens this year. But as you're creating all of your images, making sure that like they're all cohesive, they all kind of look the same, they're your branding, that kind of stuff. But making them look different enough that as I'm sitting on Black Friday scrolling, I'm not like, oh, I've already seen that post. Oh, because they look so similar. So making them different enough that people realize, oh, this is something different. And then I thought this was super interesting. Obviously, I took the whole screenshot of it because I thought it was so interesting. People window shop now on Instagram stories. So thinking about that, it talks about how 69% of people find stories on Facebook and Instagram to be a great way to discover and become familiar with new products or services. And 62% of people become interested in a brand or product after seeing it in stories. And I would say personally, absolutely, we talk all the time, like, oh, I was influenced on Instagram, bought that product, like, so keeping that in mind, if you sell something physical, to make sure you're utilizing stories and talking about what you sell, but not just being like, hey, this is a cool product, you should buy it. Like thinking again, how can you make your client's life easier? So I thought that was super interesting when they were like, that the window shopping is shifting to stories. And I was like, I totally browse that way. Like, although we did just have a discussion this morning because the Amazon catalog came, and one of my friends wrote a book, and his book is featured in the Amazon catalog, and I'm like, you're like a real author. Like, that's so cool. But I was like, it's so neat that they do this now. And Kenny was like, of course they do, because kids sit and circle. And I was like, I know, but we got away from that for so long. But it's awesome. Like Catherine loves having those catalogs. I hope you should read. Did you take a picture?
Yes.
Okay, good. Catherine loved it because they also gave stickers. So she could like put stickers by the things she wants. Okay, so with Black Friday, it's over, which means it's Saturday, hypothetically. Now what? So some things to keep in mind. People do customer service via Facebook or Instagram Messenger a lot. So making sure that you have somebody designated to handle those issues. Because inevitably, somebody tried to buy something online and it didn't work, or they bought something in the store because they're visiting family and now they're not here anymore, and they're upset because something didn't work out with their purchase. So keeping those things in mind and making sure that it's not just like, oh, it's the weekend, like we're not gonna answer messages, making sure that you're able to provide good customer service that way. And then also realizing that the shopping season isn't over. So just because Black Friday is done, or even the whole weekend, like Small Business Hour, all of that's done, doesn't mean the season's over. And coming up with different campaigns, like there's like the 12 days of sales or the 12 days of giving or whatever you want to call it. So that's a great way to keep your customers coming back and keeping them engaged. A lot of times with the 12 days thing, I've seen people do like where it's like you do, like your customer does it. So like take a selfie with our product or show us your Christmas tree. So it's creating engagement on your page, and then they're able to get rewards. Okay, any questions about Black Friday? Is there anyone on Zoom that has a question? Okay, I'm gonna pull up this. I'm gonna have for this next part. Because I meant to print it and I forgot. Okay. Small Business Saturday. All right, so our local push. So there's been a big local push. It is happening this year as well. The deadline was supposed to be yesterday, but I emailed them and I was like, hey, so we're gonna talk a lot about this. Can you please make sure anyone at Social Media Forum can still sign up? And they said yes. So if you've not signed up for Small Business Saturday, here with the Chamber, I highly recommend doing it. So basically what it is you pay $25 and that goes towards the prizes. All of the participating businesses get swag that, and then your customers get a chance when they shop with you, they enter to win a drawing for a contest. And there's all kinds of gift cards. And so basically, like say I go to shop at your store on Small Business Saturday and I enter to win, and then they draw my name and I get a gift card that I can use at any of the participating businesses. So there's also advertising. So they do a whole bunch of stuff on print media, digital media, the news. They're really pushing out all of the businesses that participate in Small Business Saturday. They're really pushing. Obviously, they may redeem the gift card at your place. chance for you to do your own you can do your own small business promotion if you want to. You get recognition, and then there's the print media that's happening and that kind of stuff. So here locally, it's a super great way to kind of be involved in a bigger thing and push out. And obviously we all know here in Jeff City, I feel like people are pretty good about shopping local. Like it's kind of in the vibe here in town, but it's just another great way for people to come and shop at your place on a day that's dedicated just to small businesses. So Sean Sappenfeld is the one, if you have not signed up yet, he's the one to talk. Okay, another way for Small Business Saturday, I love this, the hashtag small biz selfie. So like encouraging your customers, like as you shop today and all these small businesses, take a picture, tag us, that kind of stuff. It just helps push out to people, even if they don't come and shop with you that day. It really encourages them to come back because they may not know what you do or what you sell, or they may not realize that you're there, or that, you know, all of those things. So it's a great way to get your current audience to help spread the word about what you do. And then this is something that I did last year. Part of this is because I love marketing and I love small businesses. So I did a thing, we were in St. Joe last year for Thanksgiving, and I went and did small business shopping there. And so I did a whole like Instagram thing about it. And I did not screenshot all of them for you. You're welcome. We would be here for a while. But it's so important, like to make sure that you're like tagging the business, and they have like a shopping page and their handle. Like this was a recommendation from a friend. I tagged her. Like I did a whole like what time it was, so people could see how I shopped that day.
The whole thing.
It was great, wasn't it? So fun. But my hope was that then like those, my hope was that those businesses would have someone monitoring their social accounts, and they would be then sharing those onto their own stories. So people could see like, oh, they are open today. Oh, you know, because a lot of these businesses maybe aren't normally open on Saturdays, but they work with this specific promotion. So that was kind of my hope with that. Any questions about small business Saturday? Okay. All right, Cyber Monday. It is the same as Black Friday, it's just online. So all the stuff you do for Black Friday, you do for Cyber Monday, it's just online.
I like it.
It just seemed like there wasn't a whole lot of reason to go through it all again. The one thing with Cyber Monday to keep in mind is that people are at work. So like on Black Friday, you probably post things earlier in the morning. On Cyber Monday, maybe you post things like early in the morning, but maybe really heavy over lunchtime, right? Like people just came off like a 4-day weekend. So maybe in the morning isn't the best time because they're trying to get the kids up to school, they're trying to get to work, like things are crazy. But by lunchtime they're done, they don't work anymore, so they're looking in. So just kind of thinking about the times that you do it. Also maybe just thinking about, like I think there's ways to do it too. Like hypothetically, if you don't ship, like you could still say, if you message our Facebook page, like we'll hold it for you, or that, so tying it in anyway. Okay, now we're gonna move to the nonprofits. I told Kenny as I was putting this together, I was like, Giving Tuesday is my favorite. Like, I was like, the other ones, because I don't have a brick and mortar, so I was like, this is what I love. Okay, Giving Tuesday, it is the day for the nonprofits. I'm gonna show you a whole bunch of examples of things that we do before. So one of the things I do before is I always ask on our Facebook page and in our emails for people's stories. So I'll be like, I usually give them a prompt. So like last year we were super heavy on how did the library help you during the shutdown or during the pandemic? And then people would write in and give those answers. And then the ones I really liked, I'd be like, can you also send me a picture? So some did stuff like this, like they don't want their faces in it, but some did. So, so thinking about a prompt, you know, you guys for sure, I could think of like, with even like adults, like when you were a kid, what would have kept you drug and alcohol free? Or what services do we provide? Or asking your safety kids, like, what do you love about safety kids? So thinking about those things and getting those stories written out are it's super helpful now before we get into the busy season. And then this is another one. So the other key components of this is like we always have the story and her little quote. We thought, you know, this was last year, so December 1st was Giving Tuesday. The challenge is virtual services, contactless pickup options. Our goal is $10,000. We tagged Central Bank because they were matching, they did a matching gift for us, and then we told them where they could donate. That's on all of our posts because it never fails. Like in my mind, I'm like, look, I already posted this same paragraph about what to do 17,000 times. The one I don't post it on is the one where someone says, where can I donate? I'm like, on the 35,000 other posts I posted it. But regardless. The other stuff, this was something we did in 2017. We created just like, we didn't have real people, we just created personas. So like this was an older retired gentleman. So George is retired, he uses the library to read the Wall Street Journal and enjoy social time with friends and family. And so we did these because our tagline was the library's here for you at all stages of life. So we had like little kids, we had older people, we had a whole mix in between. This is another example of what we did for our cover photo that year. This is a 19 Women America Bank did a match for us and we talked about how to donate. So you can kind of see the difference. The other one I had the really long paragraph that was really detailed. This one was much simpler. I don't know if it really made a difference. We do an annual letter, so a lot of this verbiage, we've already written and I copy and paste a lot of it because we've already done the work.
Hey, I'm Jessie, and I don't know about you, but learning to navigate the roller coaster of this homeschool, virtual, hybrid learning with my kids this year was insane. But you know what? My local library came in clutch. Seriously, don't know what I would have done without them. So this Giving Tuesday, really consider giving back to an amazing resource to our community, Missouri River Regional Library.
So this is a good thing to have friends that know how to do marketing. I was like, hey, and Leslie's featured in here in another image as well. I'm like, hey friends who know how to navigate TikTok/Instagram. I was like, will you record a video for me talking about how much you love the library and what it did for you?
I like to come to the library because there's some projects sometimes.
Oh, she loved the project. This was another series we did where we had people, again, from all stages. So we had little kids, we had teenagers, we had adults, we had senior citizens. All of them kind of jumped in. And you can kind of see these are the different posts that we used to kind of talk about it. Okay, so we do all of that stuff leading up to Giving Tuesday. So some people want to donate early. Some people, it's just to make people know like, hey, this is happening. This is a big deal for us. It's one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. They kind of know what's going on. So then again, we're still fighting a lot of noise. So Giving Tuesday, there's not as much competition as there is like on Black Friday, but just keeping in mind that there are a lot of people asking for a lot of money. So we did this in 2019. We did a whole story. So we had a patron who she wanted to start her own business. I don't remember. Yes, she was, I see now. So she did experience homelessness for a year. She knew once she had a home, she knew that she needed to have a way to support herself. And so we told this story in multiple parts. And so you can see our little part 1 of 3 and talked about how she used library resources to start her own business. We also one year featured a couple who used the library's free resources so that they didn't go to the movies, they didn't have Netflix, they didn't do that stuff, and they paid off their home in 5 years or something. It was nuts. I know, I was like, teach me your ways. But I do love Netflix, so I'm probably would do that. But anyway, so the heartstring kind of stories are what I really recommend for Giving Tuesday on actual Giving Tuesday. Thinking about the impact that you have or that your organization has. And I would think like Colton with you guys, even if you talk about like the mental health benefits to being outside, that kind of stuff. So just how do people are like, oh, like even if I'm not an outdoorsman, but I'm like, oh, like I see the benefit in that. Like absolutely take my money. That's what you want.
Oh, here's Leslie. When school shut down in April, we had to figure out how to keep my 8-year-old busy at home, as well as myself and my husband. And we were so thankful for the library. Not only did they have curbside pickup, but they also had virtual programs that we could watch at any time and keep everybody in our house entertained and occupied. So on this Giving Tuesday, consider giving back to the library that kept our community running.
Love it. So good. The other thing to make sure, if you're having other people record content for you, making sure you tell them, like, my preference is always that they record like this, especially now that Reels exist, because I can edit videos in Reels. But if you prefer them to do, just make sure it's all the same. Okay, so Giving Tuesday is over. You've raised thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. What do you do next? So we always share a post of all of our staff and foundation writing all the thank you letters. That way people know that we are thankful for our donors, obviously. Donors know that it's coming. It's an easy content post. This is one.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A very sincere thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. Dankeschön. Merci.
Thank you.
Thank you from the Bookmobile.
Thanks a lot. We are very grateful.
Hi, I'm Claudia Cook, and I'm the Missouri River Regional Library Director. I would like to personally thank you from the bottom of my book-loving heart for your generous support of the library this year.
So that's funny, so this is the second video that we did like that, and a lot of times I use the same, like if we have new staff members, but I'm like, hey, send me a video saying thank you, and I like splice it into it all. Because I also have, please note, some of this footage was filmed before the pandemic, including the shot of the children on the bookmobile. Do not yell at me because they're not wearing masks. It was before COVID. Thank you. So we always like to update. So during Giving Tuesday, like I will periodically do updates on social media. I will periodically send out emails to our list saying where we are. This was on December 4th of last year. We had almost raised 11,000. By the time we were done, it was like 14, I think, like was what we ended up at. So it was super successful. We wanted to make sure people knew like that's what's happening. And then the other thing that we always make sure to do, and this post is from October of 18, so it's from the Giving Tuesday in 17. You may remember that one of the projects the foundation raised money for during Giving Tuesday was wireless printing. It's now available at the main library. You can print from your phone or laptop. So making sure people know, like, this is what we said we were gonna raise money for, this is what we actually raised money for, and showing them like that it's actually happening. So, any questions about Giving Tuesday?
How far in advance do you let your audience know, I guess?
So we will typically start, like, I will ask for like stories from people early November. I'm trying to think when Giving Tuesday is this year, because it's a little soon. I think it's at the end of November, or maybe December 1st, it's a little sooner. So end of October, beginning of November is when I'll start asking for those stories and like start putting it together. And then we do an annual letter also. So our annual letter always talks about Giving Tuesday in it, and those go out at the beginning of November. So people kind of already know from that, but then we'll start posting on social media like 2 weeks out, like before all the Black Friday stuff happens. I want to make sure they know it's coming before it gets lost in the noise of everybody shopping. And it won't be all of our posts. We'll just kind of start like sprinkling them in. That way people know it's coming. And then like, I always try to do on the weekend of Thanksgiving, because we don't sell anything, I try to do a bunch of like funny posts and like engaging posts that people share a lot, because then it boosts the algorithm so that when I start asking them for money, they're seeing it. So like every year I'll do the Ruin Thanksgiving in 4 words post, because I think it's hilarious. And it does well every year. People think it's funny. So or then the other one that's really funny is like on the Monday of the week of Thanksgiving, it's like, hey, make sure you get that turkey out of your freezer. Like, so I try to do a bunch of funny stuff too. Okay, so here are just a few unique campaigns that I think give good inspiration. This is one that the New York Public Library did a couple years ago. They actually ran an ad in the New York Times, and it was holiday savings, all books are free, 100% off, like, coupon, da, 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 da. I kind of want to steal that. I need to look and see like how much will it actually cost me to run an ad in the Black Friday? Probably too much that I want to spend. But I think it's hilarious. Here's another one that I thought was super interesting. This is REI, which is like an outdoor brand. We all need a break from consumption, so we're gonna close our stores on Black Friday. So like their big Black Friday push was like, go outside. Like, and obviously to their audience, like that appeals to them very much. So then they're definitely gonna go shop with them on another day that isn't Black Friday. Okay, and this was funny too. All the Cards Against Humanity products, they actually increased their prices on Black Friday. They were like $5 more. Which is funny because if you play Cards Against Humanity, you know, like that fits their brand. Like they're a little snarky, they're a little tongue in cheek. And so people actually did buy it though too. Like people paid more on that day, like, cause they're like, like. So, these are just some ideas for different things to do. You just had to think about your brand. It makes me laugh every time. And then creating social media only promotions. So this is a great way to boost your social media following, especially right now if you're leading up to it and you're like, hey, like we're gonna offer some social media only promotions, so make sure you follow us. So it could be something simple, free gift wrapping, a gift with purchase, a percentage off. Make them shareable, so using fun graphics or photos. When we've talked about this before, we've used the example Aldi did, like Aldi never does coupons, and they did a coupon one time that was like, it was like $40 off or something, like it was 40% off, it was a lot. That thing spread like wildfire because Aldi never does sales. So when they did that, it was awesome. And then just asking your customers, like what deals do you want? Like what do you want to see? This is something we did at the library one year. Book face was super popular on Instagram for a long time. It was like when you took the book and maybe it had a face on it and you like positioned it with a person and it all matched it. I mean, you kind of see this, like there were the hands, and so that was one of ours. So we created a calendar in 2019 and sold them for $5 as a fundraiser. So, so just kind of thinking outside the box a little bit. Any questions? Okay. Anybody on Zoom have any questions? Okay. All right.
I have one.
Yes.
I building location that our goal is to give back to the community, so like we said, we want to pick a certain organization, every year a different one.
Yeah.
And we run a campaign to raise money for them for Christmas, whether it be whatever, like.
Love it.
We did one just last month for Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
They got it to the board, so we did.
Yeah.
So we rounded all of our prices up, and then we did the walk, and then.
Yeah.
So we kind of helped with that. Then I always, that's with my kids before I even started businesses, we would always, their adopted family or something like that. There was always something we did so they could understand.
Right.
What Christmas actually was. So when you're doing something like that, do you need to go to the bank, set something up for that, where that is all set up in their name, or how does that kind of, that's where I don't know where that would all work. So that way it's not going through me, so I know it goes, you know,
right.
It goes to that. With me not, it going to me, it's not, I'm giving it to somebody else.
Right. That's a good question. I don't necessarily know the answer to that. I don't know
Well,
anybody.
our brick and mortar, we have a giving wall.
Mhm.
So anytime you buy a bag off this wall, it goes, a percentage of our money goes to a local fundraiser who's fundraising with us.
Okay.
So, or we always have special lines around there, if we don't have a fundraiser, it's not automatic, just because that's what our code is. So, and we, so on our register, we have it tied in, so if they buy a bag off that wall, they pick a fundraiser, and they see it, so they get to choose. And then we run a report and give a check back.
Okay.
So that's how we do it on a daily basis.
Right.
So,
So
then we run a campaign.
do, like, we can, for, you know,
And that's just easier on our end, like not having somebody just trying to report, rewrite the check. So
Right, okay.
it's still a way for people to see that you're like doing it without
Do you guys do Square or something
We-
else? Okay, that's what I thought, so,
So we just built it into our
yeah,
system.
I know that whenever I go, yeah.
Yeah.
That one sounds good.
The worst part is I always think we're asking for more money than we're like giving our portion, or part of our portion back.
Right.
So.
Right.
As long as you didn't say that clearly to them.
Yeah. It's hard to-
So I don't know if that would work.
It might.
But
Yeah.
it was the easiest way we found to do it.
Darcy asked, she said she's having a hard time finding the Giving Tuesday templates on Canva. So Darcy, what I would do, I would search for Black Friday in there under templates, and then just change it to Giving Tuesday. Like you would just change the words from Black Friday to Giving Tuesday. That's how I found it.
They also have stuff on Giving Tuesday, like social media posts, or you can, I don't know if you can manipulate them at all,
Okay,
but it has like that generic Giving Tuesday on such and such day.
Okay, cool.
2021.
Yeah.
I looked at it,
okay.
yeah.
She said thank you.
I feel like businesses could help with Giving Tuesday as well, as if you would do a post of, like your for-profit business of, it's Giving Tuesday and this is who we're giving to.
Yeah.
Do a comment in the comments of who you're giving to, and we'll give away, so you're getting social media engagement, but also people are giving, so it's like a win-win both ways.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, we'll give you a free bag of popcorn for whoever's giving we'll take from whoever comments in, man, I should have job speaking. Whoever comments in, we'll take pick a winner from one of those, a random winner, and give you a free bag of popcorn and free sign and free, like something not huge, but that way that gives more attention to Giving Tuesday than just through the not-for-profit groups.
Yeah.
That keep our community going, our businesses can support them as well.
Love
So
it.
do you just go up to local businesses and ask, like, since we're Council for Drug Free Youth, we're doing Giving Tuesday, would you support us? And do you ask multiple businesses or do you just do one?
So for the library, when we do a match, we just ask one, if they're matching for us. And we put it on all of our images, we mention them in every post, that kind of stuff. Sometimes we'll have businesses, and I don't always necessarily, like Madison's is a huge library supporter, and they will share our stuff. So I would kind of look at like your board, your volunteers, like what businesses do they represent, and be like, hey, on this day, like I've seen some who, like Central Bank, I feel like does this a lot, where because they have people on so many different boards, and they're like, this is Leslie, she's on the board of XYZ. She invites you to give to them on this Giving Tuesday, that kind of stuff. So like getting their businesses to kind of jump into it too. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
Hopefully everyone rocks it out. Next month, I'm trying to think, we're the third Thursday. I just want to make sure it doesn't fall on Thanksgiving. No, it does not.
It's the 18th.
It's the 18th. It's the week before. So I think we said our topic is going to be about what to do when social media goes down. What just happened? So we were going to do that this month, but then I was like, oh, but then what? So we're just going to do it next month. So that's where we're talking about email lists and how to handle when Facebook goes down for a day.
Do you have any, I have tried on Instagram, I am not the computer person. I tried to get my 17-year-olds and I said, oh, Mom, I got this. Yeah, you don't got it. So I'm kind of struggling with that part as far as the posts for Instagram, getting on my, and he has it set up and I'll be like, okay, here's the store, here's things that we're running.
Right.
It's like, yeah, he does it or you don't, so it's like, I'm not really familiar with that. And I know that there's more followers probably these days on Instagram and Facebook, because I know my kids were allowed to have Facebook accounts when they were growing up, just because most of them.
Right.
So now they're on Instagram.
Right.
They're like Facebook, Mom never let me do that, so that's.
Yeah.
something like that.
Instagram is definitely the best place, I think, right now to grow. Like if you're trying to reach new people, especially Reels is the best way to grow. I would definitely recommend following Susie Holman. It's SUZY. And because I think that she, especially just knowing what your business is, I feel like her teaching and the things she teaches about would fit your business really well.
Okay.
So those are always options. There's some, in our Facebook group, we have some older like PowerPoints and trainings and stuff on how to do things, and different strategies and that kind of stuff is in there too. Okay, awesome. Awesome, thanks guys. Have a good Halloween. Thank you everybody online.
See you.